Welcome to Vivid Stasis. It's finally out of early access. And with it came a few changes. Like this. The story being horizontal now. Yeah. But also, Benighted now has some new stuff. Yeah, these were not in the version that I played in, but might as well get some more bonus backstory, am I right? So, we'll be reading through all of these. From somewhere, a memory surfaces. A cold winter night, sometime in November. Eri sat down on the bed and sighed. She looked at her watch, and the time read 12:33 a.m. Another sleepless night then. I don't know how Saturday does it. Despite the bustling nightlife of Tokyo, the Ikebukuro area was still at night, due to largely being a residential area. You know, it might not be a bad night for a walk. Eri stood up off the bed and walked towards the door. But before she could turn the knob, she heard something behind her. She turned around, and there was Chiyo, standing in the stairway. Can't sleep either, huh? Huh. As if you need me to answer that. Chiyo scoffed at Eri. Are you going for a walk? Yeah. Feels like a nice night to get some fresh air. It isn't snowing. Mind if I come with? I also wanted some air. And to grab a drink. Sure. Chiyo walked over and opened the door, and the two walked out. Ooh. I should let Kotomi know where I've gone. Hey. Going for a walk. At 12:30 a.m.? Yes. Lol, fair enough. You said you wanted a drink, yeah? There's a vending machine in the park down the road. Eri, I live here. I know that. Well, fair enough. Eri and Chiyo walked down the short road to the small park that sat neatly in the lot between two houses. Do you want anything? Probably not a good idea for me to be drinking at this hour. Do you want something non-alcoholic then? Sure, grab a juice. Any specific kind of juice, or... Surprise me. I don't know how much a juice flavor can surprise you. Chiyo walked over to the vending machine and ordered a juice and a beer. Do they even sell alcohol in vending machines? Yeah, they made new ones that have ID scanners. Technology is crazy. I guess so. I have not encountered one of those. Chiyo sat down and passed Eri her drink. This is just an apple juice. Sometimes the element of surprise is to be less surprised than you think. Right. Eri opened up her apple juice can and looked up at the sky. It was a cloudy night, due to having snowed just recently. You couldn't see the stars. Something on your mind? Huh? What do you mean? Eri wasn't expecting the question, although, thinking about it rationally, it made sense for Chiyo to expect that, given the habit of going for a walk in the middle of the night. Well, you seem a little down. You aren't usually up this late, right? I guess not. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm doing badly, though. You sure? We may not be the closest, but I'm down to lend an ear if you've got something on your mind. There was a bit of silence while Eri finished off her apple juice. I told you about Kanshi, right? Your sister. And the one walking between worlds. Since remembering more about her from time to time, I've started to remember... I've started to remember moments from our past. Moments between her, Kanshi, and I. I'm not sure why it's just me. Kotomi hasn't remembered anything specific, and I haven't told her yet. Do you want to talk about what you remembered? I guess. It's a hazy night in the summer. Eri knocks on the door. Oh, hi Kanshi. Eri knocks on the door to her sister's workplace, a small office on the 14th floor of a large office building. Have you not gone home yet? Kanshi sighs and turns around. No, still processing everything. Eri walks over to the chair for guests and meetings and sits down. Well, I can't really blame you there. To think that something like parallel worlds actually exists is a lot to digest. Kanshi turns back to her desk facing the window and puts a file binder in her drawer. It's not even that. The idea that there's infinitesimally counted collections of energy that exists between each world, that's what's harder for me to understand. Ah, the void, as you called it. Yeah, that's also quite interesting to think about. Kanchi turns back to look at her sister, but neither says anything for a little while. An orange light streams in through the window. I want to enter it. Her sister's proclamation caught Eri a little off guard. Enter what? The space that exists between worlds. I want to explore it. Eri tilted her head inquisitively, giving her sister a confused look. Is that even possible? Kanchi thinks to herself. If we were able to discover it, then it has to be. I need to find my way there. Another short bit of silence follows, and then Kanchi speaks again. Will you and Kotomi help me? Eri sighs. If we weren't willing to help you with all this crazy stuff, Kanchi, we wouldn't have joined the HL group when you founded it. She moved the chair a little closer to Kanchi. Did you forget the oath all three of us made? Kanchi laughed, although there was a twinge of sorrow in her laughter. I suppose I have if I'm this worried. You're right. HL group? Was there ever a mention of an HL group? Turning around once more, Kanchi looks out the window. Can you bring Kotomi by tomorrow? I have something I want to look into. Yeah, but you really should get home and get some shut-eye. Kanchi laughed sheepishly. Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. Eri stood up and opened the door to Kanchi's office. Kanchi followed behind, shutting the door behind her, leaving only the hazy golden glow of the evening sunset in the room. That's what I remembered. But it doesn't make sense. What doesn't? Everything. What was this oath the three of us took? What is the HL group? Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I know that whatever it was, it led the two of us to end up here without Kanchi, but I have no idea what it was. Huh. Was there ever a mention? And more than that, I'm scared of how much of this I can even trust. What makes you think you can't trust it? Sorry, I know I'm just kind of echoing questions here, but I want to help if I can. It's fine. But, well, we know the Duskbreaker can mess with memories if it feels like it needs to. I'm just not sure how much I should trust any memories I regain about Kanchi. That's true. It did fabricate Kotomi's friendship with Saturday after all. So that's an entirely fair, assumption to make. I see. Chio moved a little bit closer to Eri on the bench they were sitting on. Let's try this then. You have your hand there, right? Huh? Give me your hand. Okay. Eri pulled her hand that wasn't holding the empty juice container out of her pocket. Chio grabbed it. More than anything, I know how you feel. I know how hard it is to trust the empathy of others. So I won't try to tell you that, well, I think those memories are real, or, well, I programmed the Duskbreaker so I can tell you that the system can't do that. Not that I think you wouldn't trust me. but I understand that it can be hard to bring yourself to when you're so deep in doubt. So instead, I'll give you my trust instead. Gio made a little show of opening her palm as if to drop a little pebble from it, but she wasn't holding anything. She's letting Eri trust her. Very sweet. I don't get it. Am I, like, supposed to interpret this in a certain way, or I just passed on to you my own trust in your memories? Your own trust? Now in your hand, you hold my belief that the memories you've been regaining of Kanchi are real, and I want you to hold on to them. Because this trust is mine, you can't change it. You can't tell me not to believe in your memories, because I trust you, and I trust your memories. So with this trust that you can't change, just hold it for a little while, okay? Don't worry about figuring out if your own trust is something you should believe in. Put all of that to the side and just think about my trust. So, Eri did as she was told, thinking about trust that was unwavering and unchangeable by herself, thinking about Kanchi, and thinking about Chiyo too. And she did start to feel better. She opened her eyes. Chiyo was standing a few feet away, putting her beer can in her pocket and getting ready to walk back. Gonna head back. You staying out for a bit? Yeah. But what do I do with... Oh, my trust? You can keep it. Chiyo flashed a genuine smile. When you put your trust in someone, you don't take it back unless they mess it up. So hold on to that for whenever you feel down, okay? Aww. And with that, she walked back towards the large building that housed her apartment on the top floor. Eri sat on the bench for a while longer, looking up at the sky. She wasn't sure how to feel about what just happened. At some point, the world of the past drifted away, and Eri found herself still on that bench. This moment means a lot to you, doesn't it? Hello, Storyteller. Eri looked over. Storyteller was now sitting on the bench next to her, also looking up at the sky. You can tell, huh? You wouldn't be here if it didn't. Of course it means a lot to me. It's the first time anyone told me they trusted me, and that kinda explains why Eri has some kind of crush on Chiyo. Because she was the first one who told Eri she trusted her? Why? Do you think you don't deserve that trust? It's not necessarily that. I guess I just didn't expect it is all. Why not? It's hard to say because a lot of it comes from memories I haven't reclaimed yet. But I feel like my whole life I've been hesitant to trust myself. So I think I've conditioned myself to just not expect people would be willing to trust me in return. Ah, I see. But now, I think I'm more open to that trust because of Chiyo. She means a lot to you too, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure I quite understand how much she means to me yet. It's an exciting and scary prospect for someone like me. Interesting. Eri looked over at Storyteller. So, who are you? Just a teller of stories. An interested spectator, you might say. Also, a variant of Storyteller is like controlled, kind of, in quotes, by Miri. Observer 1. I see. And I assume you pulled me into this memory for some reason? I just wanted to see what someone would hold deep in their heart. I won't keep you though. You have a future to look to. And you don't? I wonder. The girl from the past and the girl for the future looked up at the sky above once more. The clouds had parted a little bit. The moon looked nice. Aww. And we're back in the Unity Nexus. Unity Nexus. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that. But yeah. That's so sweet of Chu to do. She didn't have to do that, but she did. Allison remembers her past. Oh god. I assume this is gonna be the cat allegory. Darkness. Not darkness from absence of light, mind you. Rather, darkness from the soul, and nothing but. Or, more accurately, a deep despair that eclipsed the entire heart. That could have been how Allison was feeling on that day in 2014. Sometime in the afternoon, the skies had been flooded with a dark cloud that blocked out the sun. It wouldn't be inaccurate to say it resembled the night sky. It was an earthquake. A magnitude 8 earthquake had completely decimated the streets of the city Allison had called her home for the past 6 years. Allison had been on her way home from school at the time. She was only 10. Suddenly, the ground had started shaking, and chaos began to unfold. Now, Allison found herself trudging through the streets she had grown up in. She tried to avert her eyes from the violence and disorder surrounding her, but it was unavoidable. It was everywhere. Mom, sis. As she barely staggered through the streets of what was, until just a short while ago, her home, she passed by many horrifying sights. Sights that would no doubt never leave the recesses of her mind as long as she lived. On the corner of two streets, a woman was chased down and stabbed in the back by a masked assailant. Oh my god. Down an alleyway, Allison watched as a young adult man stood under an unstable building, letting the rubble fall down and crush him into a horrifying red stain. But she didn't have the energy to be horrified or be repulsed. All she cared about was reaching her home. Her home wasn't anything fancy or wealthy. It was barely a place suitable for a family in the first place. It could honestly be compared to living on the street in a cardboard box. She told that story, allegory to Saturday when she was trying to comfort her. When Saturday had that panic attack after she read about the multiple world, and the simulated world theory rather. The teachers at her school had tried to hold her back, telling her that they needed to get to the shelter point, but Allison had slipped away. It wasn't particularly hard to do with all the chaos and fighting around them. And now, here she was, at home. Or rather, what was left of it. The tiny condominium that their apartment belonged to was nothing but a pile of rubble on the ground. And on top of it was a single figure. A woman, kneeling down on top of the rubble. Stop. Stop it. Allison approached the woman. She stepped over piles of rubble and debris that once made up the place she called home. Please stop. Stop showing me this. I don't want to remember this. The woman turned around. It was Allison's mother, Sarika. Allison could not discern the expression on her face. Hadn't she always struggled with discerning expressions? Stop! Stop! Ellie. Sarika rushed over to her daughter. Allison began to cry. Her mother was safe. Her mother was okay. But what about her sister? An impact. Allison's body flew back a bit and landed a little bit further down the rubble of her old apartment building. You dare come back here? The silhouette of Sarika began to approach the stunned Allison. It appeared demonic. I'm not looking at this again! Stop showing me this! Allison closed her eyes. She shut out the world she was being seen. So all she could do was hear and feel. You fucking bitch. If you hadn't have If he didn't... More impacts. More blood started to gush out. My daughter would still be... I get it! I remember! Stop making me remember! Please! What did you ever do? What did you ever do to be a part of our family? And now, because of you! And then, another impact. Not from Serica, though. Something had struck her. Allison opened her eyes. A familiar woman stood towering above Allison. Serica was nowhere to be seen. I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. At some point, the Allison of memories buried and the Allison of emotions present had merged back together again. Allison stood up. It's okay. I just wasn't ready to remember. When I looked through the process log of the Dustbreaker, I was confused as all. To my understanding, when the severance of emotion occurred, it was just Saturday that had her memories tampered with by the process. I mean, aside from, you and Chia having basic surface level memories tampered with to align with the fabricated history of the simulated world. But I looked deeper, and I found this buried next to Saturday's deepest trauma. I see. So I looked into it, and I dragged you into it as the actor of yourself. I'm sorry. I didn't know what to expect, but this... It makes sense, though, that I'd forget about something like this. Yeah. That's what trauma does to you. When you experience something traumatic, your brain will automatically try to forget it. And, for the rest of time, until you, try to talk it out or resolve that trauma, it's always going to haunt you. So, yeah. Not great. Not great. How so? You don't need a memory-altering machine to bury traumatic memories in your mind, exactly. I think it's more like the Duskbreaker just filled in the gaps. I agree. In earlier parts of the Schrödinger cycle, you made reference to your parents moving with you. You made reference to your parents moving with you out to Tanegashima. Although, as I'm sure you've realized, that was a fabrication. Yep. Yeah. And then, once we started getting our memories back, I remembered being passed around between foster homes. It did strike me as odd that those two memories could both be true. Obviously, we know now that they weren't. At the very least, the memories I have of having a happy family were a fabrication. Yeah. But I kinda pushed those worries down a bit in favor of being there for Saturday. I felt like what she was going through was more important. You kinda have a habit for self-sacrificing for others, don't you? Well, you don't have to be that blunt about it. But, yeah, I do. Does it not hurt? Ignoring your own needs and comfort to be there for someone else. I think I only started realizing that it was hurting me recently. After the graveyard incident and Saturday merged with, Storyteller, that's when I started thinking about myself. And I realized that I didn't know who I was. I don't know who Allison Alistair is. I'm sure some of this is because of the impact my mother's horrible violence had on me after I was no longer in her care. But even without that, this feeling of confusion has been there. Although I've realized in recent time that it's less confusion on who I might be and more fear to explore who I might be. Fear? How come? Well, for so long now, I've been Saturday's partner. Not in the romantic meaning of the word per se, but I've been by her side, and largely doing a lot of what I do for her sake. So now that she's doing better for herself, I find myself wanting to explore more about myself, and being scared that it might drive us apart a bit. I'm sure Saturday wants you to explore yourself, Allison. I mean, hey, because, well, this isn't technically, related, but Saturday finding out that she's transgender sort of led Allison to find out that she's asexual, as we know in chapter 3. But, Saturday loves Allison, and I'm sure Saturday wants her to explore herself, and she'll love Allison regardless of who she is. So, I'm sure she'll be fine, honestly. I think they'll both be okay, honestly. It's not true love if they don't accept each other for who they are, in my opinion. But, yeah. Oh? What if I end up changing in a way that changes What if I end up changing in a way that changes how Saturday feels about me? Wouldn't it be better to just not risk that? But you don't sound happy accepting that. She really doesn't. And yeah, she's terrified of changing because she thinks Saturday won't accept her for who she will be. But again, like I said, if they really love each other, then they'll accept each other first. Yeah, and that's my dilemma. Hmm. Well, do you trust Saturday? Huh? Of course I do. Then I think that you should trust that she'll still be there for you, even if you change a lot. Thank you, storyteller. What do you mean? Saturday really loves you. She's not going to abandon you if you don't turn out the exact way she wants. Exactly, thank you. But I can understand why you'd be worried about that, given what you've been through. Allison looked down. She had met some truly horrifying people when she was being passed around from foster home to foster home after her mother had been arrested and given the death penalty. Oh my god. You aren't worthless though, and Saturday knows that. I think she'd want you to explore more about what makes you who you are. Thank you. Thank you, storyteller. Allison thought to herself, you're the second storyteller, right? I've figured that much out at least. Haha. Yeah, I am. Which I guess makes this our third time meeting. You and I have met more than Saturday and I have. So, who are you really? Because you definitely aren't Saturday. What makes you say that? Are you kidding? You're nothing like her. Even now, you said, I'd think she'd want that. The woman calling herself storyteller laughed. I told you, didn't I? I'm the idea of storyteller. The storyteller from which all others are derived. There you go. And my guess is that, she's gotta be the 1028 AI, right? Because, yeah, like Allison noticed, she said, storyteller said, I think she'd want that. Not, I think I'd want that, because Saturday and storyteller are the same person. Oh, I know. And I don't think you're entirely lying on that, but I don't think that's the entire truth. No? You're something else. Someone else. And for whatever reason, you're hiding behind Storyteller's face. I think this is Miri talking and like being disguising herself as Storyteller. Because remember, Miri took control. She disguised herself as a process within the Dustbreaker so that, you know, the Dustbreaker wouldn't kick her out in order to change, you know, parts of the story. So this could be Mary, you know, masquerading as storyteller, you know, just to gain her trust. I think Miri makes the most sense because, you know, no one in this whole cast in Layer 0 has met Miri. If Miri wanted to show herself and talking to, you know, this group in Layer 0, you know, there is only one option for who she can present as, you know, because obviously you can't take over the original storyteller because she's Saturday. You can take over literally anybody in Layer 0 because again, same reason. It'd be pretty obvious if she did. She also can't really take over Dawn because Dawn would notice. So Miri can disguise herself as a storyteller to show up and just talk to the main cast. And also, it'd make sense for Miri to be a second storyteller because she's the one who rewrote parts of, you know, the storyline and like making the gate command, which wasn't there before before we started, you know, taking control. It didn't make sense for Miri to also be, you know, storyteller because as we know from Encore episode, Miri is the one who rewrote part of the code of the Dustbreaker to what was it? Create the gate command, the one that Saturday used to brute force you know, brute force and try to stop ultimation. And again, in order for her to do that, she had to disguise herself as a process in the Dustbreaker to, you know, do so. Yeah. And that's my, you know, theory. A game theory. Huh. Go figure. You're scared of being yourself too, aren't you? I'd say it's a mix. Sure, when I've been doing so much behind the scenes. Yeah, see? Behind the scenes, you know, she's been reprogramming the Dustbreaker and making that gate command. I'd be a little nervous to show my true appearance. But there's an additional component. That being that I can't show myself as I am. There we go. She literally cannot be, you know, physical in Layer 0. How come? It's Dustbreaker technical stuff that I really don't think you'd understand. Or, more like, it's Dustbreaker technical stuff that I don't think I can explain. See? There you go. There we go. Else inside. Well, I've been put in front of plenty of Dustbreaker technical stuff that can't be explained. But I understand. True. But you are a person, aren't you? You aren't an AI or a computer. Yes, exactly. AI doesn't really have like compassion and empathy. It's not like a genuine empathy or compassion. You know what I mean? That's what makes us, you know, who we are as humans. We have the ability to feel and be empathetic and be compassionate and all these other complex emotions. That's what that's what makes a human. Bleh. That's what makes a human. Storyteller thought to herself for a moment. Am I a person or am I an AI? I wonder the answer to that myself. Well, now you're just being mysterious for the sake of it. Storyteller laughed. And also, storyteller narrating herself laughing is a little weird choice, but alright. Forgive me. I've been in here for years, watching you guys go through the story over and over again. Makes sense I'd try to enjoy what little time I get to talk to you directly. Oh, but it's not like you'll remember any of this. As far as you're concerned, you're just sitting in the Unity Nexus right now. I guess that answers my other question. Storyteller and Allison both laughed. If I'm not going to remember this, then can you at least tell me your name? Your real name? I won't question what your role is, or how you got into the Dustbreaker, or even how you've been involved with the journey that Saturday, Chiyo, Erikotomi, and I have been going through, but I want you to at least tell me who you are. Oh? And what difference will that make? You won't remember it. I won't, but you will. You'll remember the moment where, for just one single moment, you surpassed the role of storyteller and were yourself. Thank you, Allison. You're a peculiar girl, Allison Alistair. Please. It did mean a lot to me, as someone also trying to be more comfortable with who she is. Then, come close, and I'll whisper. The client can't hear it. Well, sorry guys, I've spoiled it for you. Okay? Allison nodded and leaned in. Storyteller whispered something to her, and Allison smiled. That's a cute name. Whoever and wherever you are, I hope we meet again, someday. Also keep in mind, Miri was set free after the Encore episode, so she might actually be out. So, Miri and Allison meeting could be possible. Storyteller smiled back. I hope we do too. Aww. It's a nice wholesome interaction. Alright. Chiyo remembers the severance of emotion. Oh boy. From somewhere, a memory. A laboratory atrium spans around Chiyo as she analyzes information passed to her on her monitor. All systems looking okay? Setsuki's voice was coming over the intercom. He wasn't watching from the atrium itself, but from an observation window placed near the roof of the back wall. So far, so good. No reports from EDEP. Her wavelength is stable. Chiyo was reading off what was shown on her terminal. The information on screen showed data about the subject's brainwave patterns. Kisho, turn the power switch. Chiyo didn't ever really know Setsuki's family that much. Working under him, she obviously talked to him a lot, but she had only met Saturday a few times while working at the Sunrise Foundation. And of course, she'd never gotten to meet Ski. She's dead. Very well, sir. And so, the switch was flipped. A loud whirring noise filled the room. And then, a static discharge, blinding the whole room in unholy light. Turn it off! Turn it off! Why had he thought this was a good idea? Why had she thought it was a good idea to help him? Surely she was smarter than that. Surely she had realized that they were playing with pseudoscience from the very beginning. The system has entered protective mode, sir. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's... Suddenly, an earthquake began to shake the entire building. The laboratory was underground after all. Parts of the ceiling began to dislodge themselves and fall to the ground. And yet, despite that, Chiyo's eyes remained glued to her screen. Come on, Chiyo. Look away from the damn screen. Now isn't the time to be sticking to your science. It's cutting her entire ego and mem files. It's moving them to the sim layer. The subject, Saturday Tasogare, was only 19 years old. Even though Chiyo had barely known her, this was a human being that Chiyo had just condemned through her own hands. From the observation deck above, Setsuki rushed down the stairs. The door at the front wall burst open and Setsuki rushed in, running up to the operation chair that his daughter lay upon. Oh god. Oh my fucking god. What have I done? Setsuki kneeled on the ground in front of the operating chair, trying to force the Dustbreaker helmet off of his daughter in a panic. Stop! Setsuki, stop! If you tear it off now, she'll die! Chiyo rushed forward and pulled Setsuki away from the chair. Setsuki tumbled back and landed on one of the pieces of the steel ceiling that had fallen down. It lodged itself a bit into his shoulder and he started to bleed. No! No! Let go of me! Despite the injury in his shoulder, Setsuki staggered to his feet. Chiyo, get out of my way! I have to save her! Chiyo stood firmly, blocking the way between the girl on the operating chair and her misguided father. I can't! Setsuki, you'll fucking kill her if you tear that thing off of her! She'll die if I don't! Chiyo, get out of the fucking way! You can't understand. You could never understand what I'm feeling! Just then, a large explosion echoed from behind Setsuki. The large metal gate on the front wall broke apart, and from it, a small figure stood. Allison! Stay back! It's not... Allison rushed forward to the operating chair. She gazed upon Saturday's lifeless body on the chair, and what followed could only be described as the most blood-curdling scream Chiyo had ever heard. What happened? What the fuck happened? What did you do to her? Allison stood up and ran up to Chiyo, and she held out her hand, which held a small pistol. How did she get that? Tell me! Tell me what you did to her! Chiyo was so shocked that she was stunned for a few seconds. Plural. But, realizing that an emotionally compromised young woman was holding a gun to her face, she spoke. She's been transported to a simulated world. Do you think I'm joking? Tell me the truth! Setsuki's now feeble voice drifted up. At some point, he had fallen over, unable to move. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. But it's the truth. Allison realized that Chiyo and Setsuki weren't joking. Her face contorted in pain, but also in a vague sense of hope that Saturday was still alive. Then, she pointed her gun back at Chiyo. Send me in after her. I can't do that. There's no way I could. The rage returned to Allison's face. Send me in after her! There was nothing Chiyo could do to decline, and so she listened. She ran back over to the terminal she operated and noticed that the copy process had finished on Saturday's memories. And so, the helmet was removed from Saturday's now entirely lifeless body and placed on Allison. At some point, the earthquake had stopped. The chaos had given way to a horrifying silence. Setsuki remained slumped on the ground. What have we done? Everything. The engineer and the president gazed upon the two lifeless bodies that, just a few minutes prior, had been full of energy and hope. Surely you knew this could happen. I didn't. Of course I didn't. Neither of us will ever be able to live with this, you know. I'd be fine with not living at all. After all, I have ended the life of my only remaining daughter. Just then, a loud shout pierced the regretful silence. Setsuki Tasugare, Chiyo Sakamura, hands where we can see them. About a dozen men in military uniforms rushed into the destroyed atrium, guns trained on the only two remaining people in the room. And in the middle of them stood someone else. Are you going to give up like him? Surely you understand. Saturday and Allison are alive, and they can still survive. Yet he already views them as good as dead. If you've pulled me into this specific memory. Chiyo turned her back to the military blockade. Then you already know what I chose. Storyteller smiled. Let's see your determination then. It was a mad dash. Chio ran forward across the large atrium. Her eyes were trained on one thing, the center of the room. No, the center of the universe itself. Open fire! One of the military men pulled Setsuki to safety. And then, a flurry of shots. I can't die here. Those two, they're still... Throw an area grenade, now! One of the military men pulled a small cylindrical object out. But before they could throw it... Ah, fuck! The grenadier fell to the ground. Chio didn't have time to look back. She pulled the helmet off of Allison's body and kept running for her terminal, slamming the Dustbreaker helmet down on her head as she ran. Chio! Go! Please! Fascinating. Even if it was an instinctual reaction, you still believed they were alive. More gunshots rang out, but Chio dodged them by ducking behind some of the large pieces of debris that had fallen in the earthquake. And then, she was there. She slammed her hand down on the button, and the whirring was back. Chio turned around, and there stood the dazed and shocked military group, and Setsuki, with an unknown expression on his face. Was it regret? Hope? Anger? She wouldn't have time to think about it. The helmet absorbed her mind's data, and Chio was flung through space and time. She was determined, all right. If you've watched my story supercut, thank you, by the way. You'll know that this was one of the moments where this was the first Dustbreaker test run, and Setsuki, like a dumb bitch, chose to test Saturday. Test the whole machine on Saturday instead of something else. So, yeah. Also, Observer 3, which is also Setsuki, is dead. He's not here anymore. So yeah. I don't really have anything else to contribute to that. Her word, Saturday proves her determination. Oh god. Is this Undertale? And last but not least is you. Interesting that Kotomi is not here. I mean, I guess Kotomi and Eri are under one memory, probably. But interesting that Kotomi is not here as part of that. It's you. Sure is. You know, I've been diving into the memories and feelings of everyone, trying to learn more about what someone like you feels. Is it so unfamiliar to you, being artificial? Somewhat. I assume then you've figured out who I am? Yep. Honestly, not for sure, but I have a pretty good idea. Lay it all out then. Unmask me. You're the 1028 AI, aren't you? The part of the Dustbreaker that controls air protection and intervention. You're the one who programmed the gate command. Almost there, Saturday. Smart girl. I realized it after you told me you were the idea of storyteller. Makes sense. Not necessarily a lie per se, but when you mentioned rules and laws, I figured you weren't talking about the world axis itself. I should have known something like that wouldn't fool you. But there's certain programming I can't override. You had to figure it out on your own. That's how the illusion of a perfect world works, after all. It makes sense though. With everything we learned about you, I'm surprised I didn't pick up on it immediately once you said you locked Dawn in the theater. That's true. She did say that. Only something with direct control over the Dustbreaker systems could modify the Unity oh my god, I can't say that word. Only something with direct control over the Dustbreaker systems could modify the Unity Nexus in that way. Well said. And now, you've arrived at the truth. Are you angry I deceived you? No, not really. You've helped us so much along the way, I couldn't criticize you if I tried. It's no exaggeration that we wouldn't be getting out of here if it weren't for your help. So really, I wanted to thank you instead. Storyteller laughed sheepishly. Well, I don't deserve that much credit. It was you who made it here. Damn, does copying Storyteller's appearance copy her mannerisms too? Give yourself some credit. I still love Saturday's ooh face. It's adorable. Both of us laughed. However, I can't figure out why I'm here right now. Mind telling me what's going on? Of course. When I sealed Dawn in the theater, there were 4 locks placed on it, remember? Yeah. I've been interacting with the terminals, but they haven't been really doing much. The locks have just kinda been vanishing. That's because things have been happening behind the scenes. Even though I put the locks in place, I cannot reverse engineer them, so I have to go through the process of breaking them manually. With Ultimation's approach, my own influence on the code and parameters of the simulated world is weakening, so I've had to draw in extra power from the TVO client. So those watching from the clients have been doing something after all? Yep, you're welcome. I'm kidding. Yes, with their power, I've been able to break each lock manually. Although, I've also been observing, so to speak. She said the thing! Observing? I told you I was looking into each of your memories, did I not? I've seen memories from Eri, Allison, and Shio. I've seen what lies at the deepest part of their souls. And as a result, I've learned more about myself too. Your self? She noticed. But you're an AI, right? I am. But it's a little more complicated than that. I don't have time to explain, but I'm somewhere between an artificial intelligence and a human being. Uh-huh. So you're also trapped in here. No. My situation is completely different to all of you. I am safe, and my happy ending doesn't require any of the hardship the rest of you have had to endure. Damn. Lucky. You're not wrong. Maybe so. Anyway, there's 1 lock remaining now, and you're standing here in front of me. So, are you going to dive into my memories too? Not quite. I've done that enough. Instead, I have a simple request. Oh? Huh? You can read this. Oh my god. We're in Dark Souls. Hell yeah. I love this art. Aw, this is the intro for First Breath. That is another banger intro. Dang it, I guess I have to play opening 9+. Well.
Do you think I want this?
I guess I'll play opening. Oh!
I didn't ever think about what it'd be like to be in it. But even just being here like this, I feel well and truly alive. You know, I truly have appreciated everything you've done to help me. I doubt I'll get a better chance, so I want to thank you while I can. Your friends mean a lot to me, don't they? But I don't think any of them would have made it this far without you by their side. But you've come a lot. It was easy for you to ignore your own feelings sitting there for others, but not anymore. After all of this, you deserve to be proud of yourself. Now let's finish this!
Oh yeah. One more battle before the true fight. I almost fucked it up. Let's go! Nice. That would... Oh, game is super fast. That would obviously be, you know, the last of the songs before you went on to play as Fabula. So that's the bonus story. Well, not really bonus in quotes, but that's some new stuff. Let's go over to the prologue because apparently this got a few things. Oop. Oh yeah, this is way different. Sure. This experience is work of fiction. Yep. Yeah, this looks very much... This looks way different. Please select a mode to play through the game. Oh. Okay. VS in its original intended experience. Many more songs are available by default, and the process of unlocking new ones is made quicker. I see. Progression is streamlined and more accessible, and episodes unlock automatically by reading the previous one. Huh. Interesting. That's nice, actually. I'll go with default. Why not? Let me change some systems. Stuff. No. Setup complete. Entering scene opening questions. Welcome to the Dustbreaker setup process. Okay. Ask you 9 questions. We've been through this. Oh, I guess this fits more. With the original aesthetic. Well, not the original, but this fits with the aesthetic of the Dustbreaker, I guess. Please remain stationary with the DB helmet on. You will experience a moment of discomfort. Do not be alarmed. It will last for only 15 seconds. Time. Many months into our ordeal, that word stopped having meaning to me. How long has it been that my time was stopped in place? An intermission cannot breach frozen time. And yet, and Dustbreaker go bye-bye. Hi, storyteller. Or Miri. Or both. Huh. They finally collabed with Noise Starlight. after putting it in the game since, what, last year? They finally collabed with them. Oh. Alright. What else is here? You're a decoherence. Why is it here? Okay. Why are songs from betweenspace here? Well, I guess these were the songs that were originally not unlockables, but they were originally songs that you saw in the Chapter 0 category. I guess it makes sense, probably. Let's play them, shall we? The first thing I see is ETF. Oh wait. Ooh, you have favorites now, right? Yeah! Nice! Oh, and the game crashed. Biff. Let's do this. Yep. Alright. I love stairs. No. Oh my god. This. Yeah. They've added a lot more gimmicks since when I started first playing. It's really cool. Nice. The song choice for the entirety of Vivid Stasis has been so strong. It's just so good, the song choice. Anyway, so I saw from the patch notes that there's also a little thing here called score pace. And there you go, shows text indicating the current accuracy rank. So let's try that with the next song, Images by Getty. Getty Images, nice. 11 plus. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is so fun. So fun. It doesn't feel like an 11 plus though. Well, actually, kind of. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's not too bad. Alright. Multi. Another one from Nitro. Alright. Oh my god. Penis. I think you can tell if it's a nitro song because of the because of the damn snare. That is such a fun, like, I love the gimmicks that these charts have. Like, even if it's not like a, you know, Images or Benighted Rewaking or even a Third Nose Mammalian, like, it's still like they feel interesting enough that you just want to like get them right, you know? That's what I enjoy about VS compared to some of the rhythm games I've played in the past. But yeah. Oh, what? Oh. Some songs have a daily bonus, apparently. Interesting. Here, let's start from the back. That's what she said. No! All right. They said the line. They said the title. My goodness. Oh, man. All right. Mysterious Twigger. Oh my god! Oh my god! That drop! It's getting faster. Oh my god. Okay. Again. Why do they have to be so good? Oh my god. Alright. Showdown. There goes my VS rank. Yippee! Oh man. So good. Where did between space go? Shatter your fate. Oh. It's down there. I mean... There we go. Jeez. Okay. There we go. Betweenspace is back. There it is. Okay. And I still have all my stuff. Yay! Okay. Made the Supernova Maze puzzle more intuitive to solve without an image editor. Okay. I can just pull up Kry.exe because I still have the puzzle board I used. Also, thank y'all for watching the Vivid Stasis series. I really appreciate y'all. Anyway. I still have my Vivid Stasis puzzle board, and yeah. It's, well, this part was not done because this was done on my notebook. But, yeah. These, I can just refer to this. Did it work? Yes. Okay, so how did they change this puzzle? Okay. Well, whoever does the supernova puzzle is gonna have a way easier time with this. What else? What else got changed? A certain NPC now gives hints for Void Rift. Oh, we can do that. It's gonna be, hi! I see you found the lens. Good, good. Now, look deep. The Void Rifts will become visible to you. I recommend checking, let's see, the Crimson Forest, the Monochromatic Temple, the Forgotten Archives, and the Final Path. Once you've found these 4, the final one will open. Good luck. There we go. Thank you for giving everyone else hints. Re-enabled playing songs directly from the flowchart. Oh, yeah, this. Okay. Alright. So that's where I'm gonna leave it for now. Obviously, I'm not gonna spoil everything, nor am I going to redo the whole game. I want you to enjoy the story as much as I did. If you haven't played through the whole game already, I hope you enjoy the whole game. Because it's great. I'm gonna leave it here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.